Hello everyone, this is Sudhi from Agicent App Company, and today let's discuss what are the possible costs of creating or running an offshore software development center in a country like ours, India. Basically, there are two major ways to create an offshore software development center. One is that you do it on your own. Your company is in the United States or elsewhere, and you want to create and run your offshore center on your own. Then the cost might be optimized, but you'll have a lot of work to be done. Plus, you cannot do this thing unless you have a significant amount of developers to be sitting and working from a remote location. The second pretty famous thing and pretty famous way is that you outsource or you partner with somebody like us, like my company Agicent does this thing all the time, and ask them to create an offshore software development center for you, whether it is for one person or for 20% or maybe even more than that, right? So the cost involved in both these methods will be different. Of course, when you do it on your own, you save a cost, but you'll have to deploy a lot of resources in organizing and handling that thing. While if you outsource to somebody like us who already have the facility, who already have an experience of a decade plus experience in several technologies, then things become easier for you and you save a lot of hassle, a lot of heavy lifting in creating and running the team. Having said that, let's talk about the possible cost of having this offshore software development center. Number one cost, the major cost that goes into the developer's salary, the developer's cost, right? And you must be hearing a lot of rates that start from $15 per hour to $20, $30 per hour, and a rate more than $50 per hour. It all depends upon the level of experience of the person. The location, like the hyper location they are in, like if they are in Delhi or if they are in Bangalore or if they are in any other city like Pune or Indore. And of course, as I said, their experience level, their skills. If their skills are pretty generic, then of course the rate would be low. If the skills are really precise, really higher, high in demand, then the rates will be higher. Most of the time, in case of app development or full stack development or web development, the rates, rates for good developers move between $20 per hour to $35 per hour. Of course, the architect level guy will be costing you more, but this is more or less the average range of the rate of a good developer in India, somebody who can actually do your job. Second rate would be the facility cost. As I said, if you are doing it on your own, then you'll have to spend on the facility rent, right? But if you are outsourcing to somebody like us who already have this facility and we can always extend, our sitting for more people, then you can save this cost. But even though if you want to factor this in, you can easily say that a per person cost for one seat in a location like mine would cost you approximately $150 to $200 per month. That sums it up all. Or it could be less also. It all depends upon what kind of facility that you are going in. What kind of facility you are choosing for your center. Then there is a logistic cost which is pretty negligible, pretty trivial, unless and until you are providing transportation to your employees. And if you want your people to be working in the night, then you'll have to have more admin costs. But it's trivial it's not a cost when you outsource it to a partner like us. Then the hardware and the tools cost, again, if there is a specific hardware, for example, we are working on a project which requires us to integrate our software with some semiconductors and all. So we have procured those semiconductors and we have built our clients on actual. So such kind of hardware will be needed, but not like the the PCs or the MacBooks, etc. Because if you are outsourcing to me with an assumption that I should be having that hardware, so I will be having that hardware, right? So again, a cost which is mostly optional. You'll have to incur this cost if you create your own center. Then the hiring cost, this is again something that you pay only when you do it on your own. If you outsource, you save this hiring cost because I'm anyways taking a markup on the salaries or the cost that I'm paying for that particular personnel. And then any government permissions cost depending upon the project that you are doing. There are some projects. We did a telecom project where we had to have a license for creating an infrastructure in-house for the testing and development of telecom software. It was like something like you are creating a 5G software, or you are creating a network related software, something very core to the whole domain. Then you may need a permission from the government to set up such kind of hardware or software. So If your project is that specific, then this cost will come into the play. Otherwise, most of the times, if you want to have a team that handles your e-commerce application, or a team that handles your web portal, or anything of not of that mission critical nature, then you need not to have any such kind of licenses, right? And if I am an offshore software development service provider, I already have the necessary licenses that I need to have in order to create and deploy a team and run a team, right? So so these are the different costs that you want that you'll be paying. Now coming to the most important and interesting point. So how exactly, what is the right way to outsource your offshore software development? Do you want to go with a rate card, like a 1 to 2 years experience person at $15 per hour? Anyone more than that will $20 per hour, and more experience, more skills, and more dollars per hour? Or there is a better prudent way to handle it, which I am offering to my clients, and which we are seeing is working perfectly fine. And that way is that rather than going or sticking by a rate card, like the dollar rate per hour, you should probably have a more transparent arrangement with your offshore center provider. You should have, you should be knowing the cost your partner is incurring on an employee, and then they'll add a markup on top of their salary or their cost to the company. The cost to the company includes the salary plus logistics plus hiring charges plus operational charges. So whatever cost I'm bearing on a personal who is working for you, I put a markup on that. Most of the time it's 35%. And if you go with this way, you'll have more transparency, of course, but at the same time, you'll have an advantage of having somebody working for you in a lesser price compared to this predetermined rate card. You know what I mean, right? So rather than sticking to a rate card, you better have a transparent arrangement. You give a little bit of the time to your partner so they can hire the right people in the right price, and then they put a markup on that. So if somebody really good is coming in lesser price, you'll pay less for him. At the same time, if you are paying more for somebody, then you know why you're paying for that, right? So this is the right way, as I believe in, and I have seen this thing working very successfully with our clients. We have been working with a client who is like one of the top 3 IT companies in the world. I cannot just disclose the name on our YouTube video, but that's on our website nevertheless. So, and we are working with with them with the same arrangement. It's working perfectly fine. So I suggest that you go with that route, and specifically when you are there to create a team of more people, like more than 5 people. If you want only a couple of developers, then of course you should be going by the rate card thing, because you can quickly engage somebody to work on your project, and then there is a fixed rate card for per month fee, and it works well for you. But if it's something which involves more people, if something of a long-term nature, then you should go by this. This is number 1 suggestion. Number 2 is that always discuss with your vendor partner, somebody like us, if we can offer you a BOT model, which is the build, operate, transfer model. And this simply means that I build a team for you, I operate that team for you, and after some time, like after a capping period, I can transfer that team back to you with some pricing, etc. And then you can come down and take over the whole development center that has ran for you for last year or couple of years. And that gives you actually long-term benefits. Yes, and another right way is that if you want to outsource, then outsource to someone who is already doing that. I mean, it's self-explanatory. Like if you want to create an offshore team of app developers or an offshore team of web developers, then you should be talking to a company who is already doing that. For example, we do app and web development all the time for last 12 years. At the same time, we also work in embedded and telecom domain. So if there are very specific kind of customers who come to us not only for app and web development software developers. They also come to us for these very specific domain specific skills, like the 5G network developers or the 4G network developers, so on and so forth. So partner with somebody who is already doing that thing, because there are many other reasons for that as well. It is always easier for a vendor partner to hire the right people if they are already working in the domain, because in India the job market is pretty hot. So people would not be joining you if you do not have a prior experience as a company in that particular domain or the skill set. And then of course you figure out what kind of recruitment team that your partner has. Like you definitely need a very salesy kind of very aggressive recruitment team in order to hire the right talent in the right time and the right price. So do figure that out. It's a big thing, and this is something which many clients forget to check, but this is something that you should be checking. And then yeah, of course, as I explained before, like the domain expertise is very important. So if you are outsourcing a banking application, or if you are outsourcing a travel application, and somebody who does not have the domain experience may have, you know, the hiccups in handling that kind of stuff. If yours is a domain specific project, if yours is more like a technical specific project, like technology specific project, and is more regular kind of nature project, then of course this is not a big factor. But this is a factor when it comes to, you know, the domain specific requirements of your project. Another thing that I want to suggest to you is a little bit controversial. I can get a lot of heat from my peers, but you try and hire to tier 1 or maximum tier 2 cities of India if you really want to work with the right talent. Because what happens here is that there are good developers everywhere in India, but they are always striving to come to the cities which are already infested with the top developers or with the top development companies. So if you hire to the tier 1, tier 2 cities, you already, you know that you have abundance and, you know, the quantity and quality of the developers in that city only. It's, for example, in my city, Noida, it's very easy to get the CVs, get the candidates for a particular technical job profile. However, it's a different story that how easy it is to hire the right people. But there is a quantity and there is a quality as well. So at least you would not be challenged on that front, right? And then yeah, of course, the what I would say, like the financial strength of your vendor partners is very important as well, right? You know, you would not want to outsource to somebody who cannot sustain the team for like couple of months or 3 months on their own funds. Like, you know, financial strength is important. I need not to explain you that thing in details, because if you are a company and if you are a company who is looking to outsource your work to India, you already know what does that mean, right? So, you know, partner with the companies who are already into this thing, who have the decent facility. For example, if you want to hire 5 people for your project, then I'm not going to charge you on the facility charge at all, because I already have the facility for 5 people. For that matter, if you want to hire 20 people, I'm not going to factor in the facility charge again, because again, I have that facility, right? But if we do it from the scratch, if somebody is doing it from the scratch, then of course you'll have to factor in all those charges as well. So these are my couple of cents on the topic. I hope it helps you. If you are looking to create an offshore software development center, or if you are looking for on-demand developers, or if you are looking for a company that can convert your ideas into the real software products, be it an app or a website, then of course feel free to get in touch with us. I'm leaving our website link and my contact details like phone number and email ID